And welcome back to the finale, guys. This is Chun, the finale of the Stall Team series, and also my 100 subscriber special against hp1, who I found on the TPX Zat chat. When we last left off, I just finished off his Jolteon, and his Tentacruel is down as well. So things are looking pretty good for me. I'm taking down his offensive threats. He is going to go back to Tyranitar on the free switch in here. And yeah, we are just going to go ahead and get right into it. But I am going to go back to Slowbro, predicting the Earthquake. I didn't do a damage calc on it, but I was pretty confident I could live an Earthquake and a Crunch combination. And this is the reason why I slacked off earlier. It turns out I calced it after the battle and I would barely live that combination, but he Dragon Dances here, and this really threw me for a loop because I was positive that this was some type of Stealth Rock lead because he led with it, and it's been a long time since players have led with a setup sweeper. So, anywho, this has me curious as to what his last guy actually is then, given the makeup of his team. I don't know if it's another sweeper or another wall, so I'm gonna have to deal with the Tyranitar quickly because Earthquake does hit my entire team for at least neutral damage. So I decided to go for Toxic there versus going for the super effective Stab Surf, but T-Tar's got that beast special defense in the sand, so, and I have no offensive investment in Slowbro, so I do put it on a timer. That was I'm going to do some switching around instead here. In hindsight, it was a risky move because Toxic could have missed given my luck with Sleep Powder earlier. Surf actually would have been a 2-hit KO, honestly, but at the time I didn't do a damage calc on it. He did go for the second Dragon Dance, so he is at +2. I also could have gone to Hippowdon immediately since it would have only got the +1. And looking at it, this thing actually does not have Life Orb, which I was trying to judge here. But it is not carrying Life Orb. It's either carrying the Berry Berry or actually wouldn't have Lumberry. I thought it would have Lumberry, but it would have activated here. So that's the only thing it could possibly be carrying, other than maybe Expert Belt if you wanted to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and execute my plan here and try to wear this thing down with the Toxic and the Toxic damage. So I'm going to go to Hippowdon first, not wanting to risk him predicting a Heatran switch in and going for the Earthquake. And that's kind of what I was hoping for here, going into Hippowdon, but he just ends up sticking with Crunch. And he is going to get the defense drop here, I believe, and it does a lot of damage, and yes, he does. It's most definitely a 2-hit KO, even without that defense drop. So at this point, I'm just going to have to sacrifice Hippowdon. That's exactly what I do. So he is going to go down to a second Crunch. So now I'm going to bring Venusaur in on the free switch here. Now the plan here is to protect to burn another turn of Toxic and see what move he does go for. So that'll help me gauge which Pokemon I need to switch to next on the next turn here. But I just proceed with the plan here. We're gonna see if it's gonna work, because if not, then I am gonna get swept by this Tyranitar. And since Dragon Dance Tyranitar is really good in this metagame. But he does stick with Crunch, so I am gonna decide to go to Heatran here, just based on how he's using his Tyranitar. I figured he would not go for the Earthquake, so I do predict that he will Crunch a third time by going to Heatran. And I do apologize because I am jumping ahead a little bit, guys, but the Toxic is racking up, and I think I was just really thinking about how to execute this plan here just to make sure he didn't predict me to do anything, because as I said, if I predicted incorrectly here, it probably would have been his game right here, because I wouldn't have much else to take on this Tyranitar. So I do go to Heatran. He will Crunch again, and he did regret it because we talked after the battle, and he told me that it was a bad play on his part because he could have easily predicted that and just went for Earthquake, and Heat Train would have gone down, because Heat Train did prove to be key this match for me once again. But now he's going to reveal his last guy on the free switch in, and it's a Credili. So it is not another sleeper, it is another wall, which, unless it's the curse set. So that's what I'm thinking here, that it's got curse and maybe ingrain with recover and rock slide as its only attack. So that's the most common one that I see in my experience. So I am going to decide to go to Slowbro here, and he actually goes for Confuse Ray, which worked out perfectly. So now I do plan to Toxic from here, especially since Credili has the special defense boost in the sand as well. But he is actually going to go back to Skarmory, most likely predicting the Toxic, which I do end up going for because I don't want Credili cursing up. And it's got the Suction Cup, so I can't phase it with Roar. So I don't want it getting to +6 and sweeping my team. That would be really bad. But here, I think this is where he actually roars me. No, actually he does not roar. I thought he would roar me out here, seeing as he can't really touch Slowbro. So I just go ahead and slack off the damage from hazards, and he is actually going to stay in and set up another layer of spikes. Though I'm raging again because I could have gone for the 2-hit KO here to make Spiritom's life easier, whom I still need to get in safely. And I decide to surf now, as I have nothing better to do, and hope he roars Heat Train in. He does roar, but I don't get Heat Train. I get Spiritomb again. So now I'm in a position where I have to rest, because if I don't, Spiritomb is not going to be able to come back in with the, because now he's got 2 layers of spikes here. And I think it's here where I realize that it is a physically defensive set, judging by the damage that Surf did earlier. But he is going to Roost, which does give me the opportunity to rest up. And I'm guessing his plan is to get all of his layers down and just start phasing and doing other things depending on the situation, since all he has left is walls pretty much, and with the exception of Spiritomb, so do I. So I do finally reveal the rest of my set, and that I am Crotomb. So I do have the Rest Talk cycle on this Pokemon as well as my Heat Train. So it looks like it's really going to be a long one, guys. But I'm just going to go through it turn by turn because there were a lot of thought processes on each turn. So it looks boring, but it most definitely was not when I was going through this. So I was debating whether to stay in and burn another turn of sleep with Sleep Talk or to switch immediately. So I do decide to stay in back there and Sleep Talk, not caring what Spiritomb gets, and I get Rest again, which isn't a big deal. And I'm glad I did, because I figured he would just roar. His Aerial Ace does pitiful damage, as he found out earlier, so he has nothing better to do. And he also has a full stack of spikes out now at this point, and Fortress is gone, so I would have taken meaningless damage and potentially forced myself to rest earlier than I would like to. So just as I said, I did get rest there. And he does roar me out, and Venusaur actually gets dragged out. So I figured this is pretty good. I can Sleep Powder it and cripple Skarmory to take it out of the match temporarily, and I did consider this for a really long time, because I thought I might need to Leech Seed his Cresselia later on, especially given my luck earlier with Sleep Powder, but I decided to go for it anyway, figuring there's no way it can miss twice, right? But I miss again, and he finishes me off with an Aerial Ace. So fun fact, guys, Sleep Powder never hit once this game, so pretty unfortunate. So now I am going to go to Slowbro on the free switch, because I know that he really can't touch me, and it looks like that's exactly what his plan is, to just rack up hazard damage, because he's got all his layers of spikes down. and I'm just debating who to go to here. I think I was thinking about Heatran actually for a little bit, but I end up going to Slowbro. And as I said before, he's only got defensive walls left since I managed to take care of his offensive threats in Tentacruel, Jolteon, and now Tyranitar. So I decided to get some damage in with Surf instead of slacking off. I figured I could do it later. And I also figured his Credili couldn't touch me either because he switched out earlier. But you guys will see later on because he does an excellent job playing with his Credili, because he definitely fooled me. But anyway, Heatran does get dragged out, so now he is going to go to Cresselia, not wanting to risk me getting Lava Plume on the Sleep Talk. That's the most likely thought process for him there. I do decide to Sleep Talk just to see what I get, and I get Roar, which isn't too bad, although Credili gets dragged back in. And I would have liked Skarmory, because, I mean, it just would have been funny to see. But, not so. Now, he is gonna, I believe here he's actually gonna recover. Actually, no, he's not. He's not gonna recover. I don't think he is. I decide to go, I think I go back to Slowbro at this point. Actually, is actually what I do. I end up going to Slowbro. And I was expecting the Confuse Ray or the Curse or the Rock Slide, but he does end up recovering. So it's kind of a stalemate once again, and we're basically back where we started. But here he is going to go to Cresselia, expecting Toxic to be the worst case scenario, so he's expecting me to go for it, because anything else I do isn't as bad. So I just have to do the most beneficial move for me and make sure I don't waste a turn. So I'm just going to slack off, knowing that Cresselia is going to come in because Cresselia is asleep, so I can't Toxic it. So now I'm going to go to Heatran, just in case he wanted to Psycho Shift me. And he actually does try to here, but of course because I go to Heatran, Heatran's asleep already, so that doesn't work either. So I am a bit concerned about what his fourth move is, because he does outspeed me, and if it's Psychic, it could potentially 2-hit KO me, and if it's Solar Beam, it's not as big of a deal, but it does mean he will get Cycle Shift 50% of the time, as opposed to a 1 in 3 chance, which can be annoying if I try to do some funky switching and end up over predicting. It'd also be nice if I could have the solid 2 turns of sleep from rest as opposed to random turns. And it turns out that he sleep talks his fourth move actually, which is Ice Beam. So now I'm not worried at all, unless he gets freeze hacks randomly on a turn I'm not sleeping. So I did sleep talk Lava Plume back there. Roar would have been nice if I got Skarm, but at least now he's forced to rest here. So I know he's gonna wake up and rest, not risking Cresselia being when it KO'd at that range, so I rest off my damage as well. Now he does stay in, and he gets Ice Beam, maybe not wanting to switch, and me getting Roar. His guys would have taken unnecessary damage for the same reasons I stated before, so he waits for me to initiate it, and I do, and Credili does come back in. Now I'm just thinking here what I want to do, and actually the whole time I was looking at who he had left, I thought Slowbro would be the most useful to me, since she can take down all 3 of his Pokemon. Heatran can hit Skarmory hard, but that's about it. And I do have Spiritomb, but I can't sweep unless Skarmory is gone. So I still assumed that his Credili was a curse set with Confuse Ray, so Rock Slide wouldn't do that much to me. I even thought about sacrificing Heatran at a couple of points in the game, but as you guys will see here, I am so glad that I did not do that, because Heatran does prove very, very crucial for me. So I believe here is where I'm actually going to go to Slowbro for the third time. Probably expecting Confuse Ray again, but he's going to make an epic, epic play. This play was excellent. He hit this move really well from me. He actually has Energy Ball, so this is not a curse set. This is another set, and Slowbro just went from most valuable player to near useless. Him switching out earlier got me thinking he didn't have a Grass Stab, and that it most definitely was a curse set with Rock Slide. So, fearing the 2-hit KO, I immediately go to Heatran, and he does go for it. So, Toxic on Credeli is bad news for the user. Now, but I do have the 4 times resist. So I ended up recovering more with leftovers than I lost on Energy Ball. So, but he is safe to Confuse Ray here, and I was thinking that I was in a real pickle at the time, because the only way I can get Slowbro in is if I force one of his other guys out with it, and the odds are nil. And Skarm can just phase me at this point. Cresselia can put me to sleep. I still want to put this thing on some type of timer, since I haven't seen the boosting move of his set yet. But at the end of the day, I am going to just settle for the burn, because I just start Lava Pluming, which I started doing on the wake up, but I didn't get the burn there. There's no dice for me. And he reveals his final move, which is Stockpile, so it's definitely not Curse. And I should have known it wasn't after seeing Energy Ball. Offensively, Cradily is no longer a threat, but this could drag out for a long time, since Stockpile would negate my damage output combined with Recover. So it looks like I'll have to PP stall him out, and he's going to try to do the same. So I did go for a Lava Plume again, and I did get the burn, and he does Confuse Ray me. So here in the beginning, I just kept Lava Pluming, hoping for a crit, and I realized that doing that was a losing battle, as he would PP stall me out first. So he first decides here to max out on his Stockpile, since Credeli isn't going anywhere now. And as I said, Heatran actually ended up proving to be the MVP this game, since she's able to stand up to all 3 of the remaining Pokemon. He does throw a few Energy Balls my way, probably hoping for some special defense drop, since this is a Rest Talk Heatran. I decide to switch up my moves after a couple of Lava Plumes, realizing that I wasn't getting anywhere and that I would run out. And he kept going for Confuse Ray as soon as I snapped out of the confusion, but that actually proved to be his undoing here, because every time I hit myself, I didn't have to waste PP on using a move, and I could just rest off the damage. So I start playing a little bit smart here, because I realize what's happening, and that this is going to be a stall war, and whoever runs out of PP is going to lose. So I just start resting, actually, intentionally, because I didn't want to waste turns I didn't want to waste PP. So I intentionally just stay asleep, actually, by not sleep talking at all. I just sit there and just sleep. So after a couple of turns of this, he tries to start keeping up with me, at first by continuing to Stockpile, and he starts to throw Confuse Ray even though I'm already confused. And I think it gets to the point where I even start roaring, because I just don't want to. Roars, I guess at the time, wasn't really very useful to me. So this is basically what we go through here. But it's gonna end up being a losing battle for him, because between my moveset and his moveset, he would actually run out of PP first because a lot of his moves only have 16 PP at max. So, and I could even try to pressure stall him with Spiritomb, although Spiritomb won't be able to take Energy Ball that well, so I didn't really like that situation. And Skarm is still around too, but anyway, that's going to be the end of part two, guys. Stay tuned for the finale. Let's see if I can crack the core and break through the Star War. And anyway, I will catch you guys next episode. And Chun is out. Peace.